Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. Today's video is my reaction to the 1.5 year anniversary Dragalia Digest. This was announced a couple days ago and it is here. I'm very excited about this. This will definitely play a role in my future relationship with Dragalia Lost. So I'm hopeful that there's new content. I think that's the biggest thing. But in terms of predictions, I'm thinking we're going to get Gala Alex for sure. She just seems like the character who's been hyped up the most in the recent story chapters, so I think she's going to make an appearance. I think that we will get another collaboration. It was pointed out to me that every time there's a digest, we get a collaboration or crossover. And I have two guesses for this. My first guess is I think we could get an Animal Crossing crossover, and I feel like it would actually work really well with the art styles and some of the characters, and maybe could be focused more on the Halidom, like building that up in a fun way. So it could be a totally different type of event. Second possibility, though, is maybe like a Grand Blue Fantasy crossover or some type of side games crossover. I do see that as another option. And then my final prediction, which is the most long shot by far, is I think that this could be when we get Dragalia on Switch. There was a really interesting tweet that went out today about make sure to link your Dragalia account to your Nintendo account. And I feel like that reminder was oddly timed. So I think that that could be a hint that maybe there's some console or Switch action happening. But let's get into it. I'm going to give you my real-time reactions to everything. And if we have some time at the end of the video, I'll go back through and freeze on any screens where there's lots of information. It's kind of hard to process in the real-time format. So here we go. Dragalia Digest. It's been a while. All right. Not a whole lot of narration this time. Immediately jumping into this. Okay, Gala Alex. I wonder what she's gonna look like. Will she have the hood? Oh, the child portraits are really cute. Yeah, there were some strong scenes with her and Leonidas in the most recent chapter, so after everything that's happened, even though Alex hasn't been here as long, this is a pretty nice recap. Okay. I think we're getting a glimpse right now. White Cloak.
Whatever happens, I will keep
Yo. Ezio in here. No, she actually looks really good. The portrait looks really, really good. I love the moon there. Alright, Shadow Sword. Was kind of hoping for this. There's not really a meta or prominent Shadow Sword at the moment. Hopefully she has Dispel. She has Poison Punisher and Reduced Defense Punisher. Those should be additive. Okay, this is going to be really long to read. So let's come back to this a little later. Umbral Erasure. So I see Skill Chain, so it sounds like that's going to be her unique mechanic or niche. Regular co-ability, just Dragon Haste. Chain co-ability, okay. We're definitely going to have to read about this chain mechanic. But yeah, she does look really good. I think that they captured her well here. And pretty much as expected, this is right when Gala Dragalia happens at the end of the month. There's not.
Surprising, right? Didn't Alex look amazing? The next Gala Dragalia
Yes, she did.
can't come soon enough. Somehow, it's been almost a year and a half since we started this adventure. And to celebrate, I've got a gaggle of good news to share. Ta-da!
Ooh, that looks promising.
Dragalia Digest.
I hope they've been holding back stuff for this because it's felt pretty dry lately. A lot of envelopes.
There's gonna be a
Bonus.
login
Fair
bonus
enough.
during the 1.5 year anniversary celebration.
Mini Zodi.
You can bring home Mini Zodi. We're gonna be best friends.
The rewards look very
Just
good.
like past login bonuses, there'll be all
This looks like
sorts of
anniversary
things
level
for your
rewards.
adventures. Don't forget to stop by each day. Next,
Okay. Simple but good envelope. But just rewards. We need content.
daily free tenfold summons. Wait,
Fair enough.
during Gala Dragalia?
Thank you.
Shut the front door! You'll be able to do 60 free summons altogether.
This is a huge save.
Out.
And on Gala, 60 summons basically guarantees you a 5-star. Or 61, technically.
You're guaranteed to summon a Gala
2
adventurer?
platinum
Let
showcases.
the heck in.
I don't know.
Next up,
I'm not that hopeful after the
we'll
1-year
have
anniversary.
limited time packs for sale.
Oh,
There's
4
lots of
Sunlight
goodies
Stone
there,
pack?
so
That's
drop
gonna be
by the shop and
expensive.
check 'em out.
Alright, some of these packs might be cheaper, but this is not really a time I would want to spend.
If you clear all these limited endeavors, you can take
Champions Road.
5,000 Wormite.
That's a lot of Wormite.
Buy Midgard's
Whoa.
Sword Trial and Volkswrath on
As
Stagger.
soon as they used Champion, though, I feel like everybody got debated into, like, Champion's Testament. But Wormite's good.
Looks like it's time to reset the social rewards again. You can stock up on
I agree
Wormite
with this.
just
I
by
kind of wish
following
mentoring was handled
Step
like
1,
social rewards,
team up with
honestly.
people. Step 2,
Because the weekly thing creates a weird incentive to try get it done sooner or just create alts.
not all.
There's only one left, so there's got to be something more after these envelopes.
There'll be a bunch of promotions going on as well.
Triple drops?
Stamina recovery will be doubled.
All right.
And some quest drops will
Well,
be tripled.
unfortunately, pretty much all of these quests are relevant if you've been playing for a while,
Too much math.
like since the beginning of the game. But if you haven't, this is a very good catch-up opportunity.
Roll the clip.
And you still do these quests for daily, so... Gift. Raid event. Music. Who are you? Syndicate. Okay. I'm feeling the production value on this. Aldred. Marnie over here. No. Andromeda. The Doctor. Okay, this looks like a quality event right now. That did just look like a reskin of Fragonath, though. But Scars of the Syndicate. End of March. Fair enough. Fair enough. So we didn't get an Astral Raid coming this week. That explains why. This looks like this could be Fractured Futures level. In terms of a good raid event. And new events are just far and few between now. Okada makes an appearance.
Thanks for playing the game. I wanted to take some time to talk to you about what's ahead for Dragalia Lost.
Background looking like Mega Man right
The song
now.
in the trailer you just watched was performed by the band Mad Kid. I think it turned out really well, so I hope you enjoy it along with this upcoming event.
I think I will.
The Scars of the Syndicate raid event will begin on March 30th at 11 p.m. Pacific time.
The fact that the name starts with all is what makes me
Showcase
suspicious.
after Gala Dragalia will feature brand new
Whoa.
adventurers and dragons.
Belina and Andromeda. I guess Andromeda might be a dragon.
Our new adventurers,
Just
Belina
guessing.
and Aldred, can take on special forms using a pretty unique
Yeah.
power. This is a little different from shapeshifting. While transformed, all their stats will be boosted.
Okay.
Now let's take a look at a few of the updates coming up.
So, resolving the shapeshifting issue by just moving away from
We'll be
shapeshifting.
adding a feature called Chain Co-Abilities. Chain Co-Abilities are a new type of co-ability. Like existing co-abilities, these also affect your whole team. All adventurers will have new chain co-abilities in addition to their existing co-abilities.
Whoa.
Unlike existing co-abilities, the effects of chain co-abilities will stack. For example,
Okay.
if two adventurers with chain co-abilities that increase the strength of flame-attuned adventurers were in the same team, one with plus 10% strength and another
Are
with
there going to
plus
be
5%,
caps?
all flame-attuned
This is going to
adventurers
become
in
very
that team
complicated to
receive
monitor,
plus 15% increased strength.
but I don't know if the challenge level on anything warrants this type of depth right
We are
now.
changing how co-abilities work in co-op.
All right.
The effects of co-abilities from other players' adventurers will no longer apply to your team. Instead, the co-abilities and chain co-abilities for adventurers on your team will apply only to your team, even when playing co-op.
This is fine to me. This is actually
Reduce
pretty
your
sweet
worry about
because you
overlapping
can,
co-abilities with other players. But at the
right,
same time,
and you can
you'll have
improve
to
your
pay
own
closer
survival,
attention to your team makeup while playing co-op.
but this is a little bit confusing for people. I still see people who don't realize, like, your reserve characters can affect things like player
Pretty
XP.
powerful effects to your adventurers, so I hope you'll try out lots of different combinations.
Man, the chain abilities on existing adventures is going to be
Next up,
pretty
we have the
wild.
Event Compendium.
All
The
right.
Event Compendium lets you
This was a
play
promised
past
feature.
events whenever you want.
Okay, so all of these have been rerun
3 facility
before.
events available to start, but we will be adding more as time goes on.
Facility events make sense as a starting point because you don't need as big of a player
Add
pool
raid events in a future
for
update.
co-op. I don't know how they're going to handle raid
However,
events.
Note that some
in terms of
rewards
player
and
base.
quests available via the Event Compendium will differ from those available when the events are live.
Interesting. This is a nice feature
Next up
though.
is a new item, Fafnir medals.
Fafnir medals.
Fafnirs are pretty interested in collecting these.
Ooh.
You can get these as rewards for clearing quests.
You see that Champion's
With the
Testament on
treasure
there.
trade, the Fafnirs will be glad to give you a variety of items in exchange
And
for
tails but not scales. Or tails but not horns,
items
rather.
you can get even include high dragon tails. Not even I know how the Fafnirs got such high-end items.
I mean, if you can get
Those medals.
Champion's Testaments, like unlimited, I would probably use
Next
all the
up,
medals
let's
for
talk
Champion's
about some
Testaments,
updates
but
planned for April and beyond.
there might be caps.
We're planning to update how skills work. Separate from the skills that an adventurer can use on their own, you'll be able to use up to 2 skills from other adventurers on the team.
This is interesting.
The
This is
skills
going to
will
lead to
use
some
other
degeneracy for sure. Whoa.
However, if you use another adventurer's skill during a quest, you will not be able to use weapon skills or helper skills. This feature is
Interesting.
available in co-op games as well. A single adventurer will be able to use up to 4 skills.
Some of these changes definitely make you
Conditions
rethink
must be
the
met
whole
before using another
meta of the
adventurer's
game.
skills. For instance, your adventurer must be sufficiently upgraded.
Okay.
We'll share more details as we
But
get closer to releasing
it's really
this
about the
feature.
content because if there's not a need to use this stuff, then
Co-abilities and equipping
it's
skills
nice,
from allied
but
adventurers should bring a whole new depth to team composition.
it does bring depth. That these two changes, chain co-abilities and this, brings a lot of depth.
A whole new event format.
Defensive
We're
style
planning to have an
battle?
event that focuses on defensive battles and fending off enemies.
Thank you. People want this.
Next we have
Okay. No detail at all. That's not very promising.
I know some players have been waiting for this.
I have been waiting for this, but is this half anniversary or future
Weapons
right now?
and worm prints you've collected.
I'm running out of
You'll get
slots for
various
weapons
bonuses
right
based on
now.
How complete it is. Next up
But
we
this is
have
cool.
look at the bosses coming to the Agito Uprising.
What is our next element?
Like past bosses, these will change
Ciela.
their forms and attack patterns in the middle of a fight.
The twins, Ayaha and Otoho.
Here's a quick look at some other
Atoha,
features
I
and
guess.
improvements we're planning.
The artwork looks great, but I don't know about the
We'll add a
order.
feature to co-op that lets you retry a quest without waiting for all players' HP to reach 0.
That's nice. Quality of life.
Right now, game processing may slow down while viewing certain screens, depending on the device, and switching between screens may take longer than expected due to visual effects. For
Another
example,
quality of
Mana
life.
Circle screen. To address this, we plan on adding 2D versions of screens such as this.
I would probably use that for mana
With
circles,
weapon
honestly.
variety increasing, the current crafting screen layout can look a little complicated. This screen will see
Agreed.
some updates in the future too.
That's good.
We'll share more information via in-game notifications and on social media when dates for these updates are finalized.
I mean, the defensive battle event is a huge question mark right now,
We do have some more feature additions and improvements in the works too.
but I feel like they're saving the one big thing, probably the collab, for the end.
And finally, we have one last thing to show.
Here we go. Oh. Okay, spoilers. What? That's gonna be a good chapter. Interlude was pretty good. Yo, these maps are really good. Alright, with the music, I'm getting pretty hype. Elysium's chosen. Are we gonna meet Finlorda? 15 is coming in August. So that'll be the last chapter before the
That's all I
2-year
have to tell
anniversary.
you about today. Thanks for continuing to play Dragalia Lost.
Thanks, Mr. Okada.
Alright, Nat, do you have a one more thing for us?
Just gonna keep piling on the fun, huh? I wonder what they'll add next. Anyway, I guess I better wrap things up with this gift I wrapped for you earlier. Here you go. Hope you like it.
It is pretty nice.
Can't wait to see where our adventures take us next. Huh? Oh, it looks like Mr. Okada's got something else to say.
Yes. What is it?
So I know I said that the video was the last thing, but I do have one more announcement.
Ah.
I won't let her destroy the friendship forged between this realm and our own.
Rerun, though?
We can't afford to lose. We fight as one.
We rerunning?
So long as we fight as one, we cannot lose. Ready to play?
Show us a new character. Can we get a new character one time? Rerunning. I mean, this could be a good... Mana Spirals. Okay. That is something. That is definitely something. We thought it would never happen. But this could be a good preview. Oh. Oh. Are we getting something new here? Maybe a new epilogue? This could be a good preview of what the defensive battle events are like. And... right. New Fire Emblem Heroes crossover event. That's different. What? That's not what was advertised.
Starting April 19th. Then, a brand new Fire Emblem event will start in Dragalia Lost at the end of April.
Brand new Fire Emblem or Fire Emblem Heroes?
Soon, so you'll have to wait just a little longer for more.
We gotta get the Three Houses reps in there, man. Alright, well, I think that's probably really it this time, since we're getting the copyright notice at the end of the video. I'm gonna scroll back. I just want to see Alex's skills really quick, since we didn't really get to read that very, very carefully. But what did y'all think of this? This was an interesting one. I have to say, I think this was probably better than the 1.5 year anniversary last year in terms of a lot of the rewards and the roadmap of future content. It does seem like they're finally giving some finality to the story, which does make me think about how long Dragalia will be around. And that's been one of my concerns with the story for a while, is the more that we build up these loose ends and kind of collect random characters and events and threads, that they won't be able to deliver on all of them, just because we're already going to approach 2 years in the fall, and we're getting a story chapter every other month now and interludes, which is a lot, but still I think that it takes time to write all the story. So it seems like they're building up to a conclusion, and that's what they intended to do with that trailer for chapter 15. Like, maybe chapter 15 is the next big turning point in the story, similar to how chapter 10 was a really big turning point. Otherwise, the Fire Emblem collab rerun isn't that exciting for me because I played it the first time. The new content is somewhat exciting, but it depends on what we're looking at here, because we're already spending a lot of time on the old event in the middle of April, and there's not going to be that much time left in April. Maybe it'll run into May, but I could very easily see it being like a story event that is just there to kind of pad out with something new, similar to Stirring Shadows Part 2, or Stirring Shadows and how that related to Accursed Archives, rather. So, good and bad on this one. The amount of rewards is great. The new layers of strategy and depth with the co-abilities is very interesting. But honestly, there's lots of things that are unturned stones at this point in terms of power increase, like dragon augments, weapon augments, tier 3 high dragon weapons, tier 2 and tier 3 Agito weapons, tier 3 Manticore weapons. And I feel like they're kind of building out more systems than are really necessary here. One of the things I really like when it comes to game design is parsimony, and especially in a gacha, it can be very easy to overwhelm your audience with the amount of materials and random stuff. I've been working on a weapons guide video, and I found just that is a lot to process and explain. So, I don't know. I really don't know what to make of this one, but it's probably going to keep me with Dragalia Lost. I don't really have any plans of going anywhere, but I think as I'm doing now, the content will be a little slower to release, just as new things happen, rather than being very proactive about creating content around the characters and their unique kits and builds, just because, honestly, the power level of the characters versus the content is a little bit out of whack in some ways, where it's tough because it's easy enough that it's accessible, which I think is highly important, where you don't have to look something up on how you want to clear it. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. A lot of the build decisions that you make or optimization decisions that you make don't really matter for your capacity to clear content. So it's a double-edged sword. But let's wrap up just by reading over Alex's skills. I'm pretty happy with this. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, but let's start with Crisis Edge, her first skill. Deals shadow damage to the target and reduces their defense by 5% for 15 seconds. This defense reduction will not stack. After using this skill for a set period of time, it will be possible to trigger a skill chain. Using Crisis Edge during this window will make it deal shadow damage to enemies directly ahead and deal bonus damage afterwards, and in both cases, damage is increased against foes with reduced defense. Okay, so it reduces the enemy's defense. That doesn't stack, but if you can use the skill again quickly enough in succession after your first use of it, you'll use it within this skill chain window and deal extra damage, essentially. So, pretty cool. Fair enough. And looks like she kind of lunges forward as well. And did she just recharge it immediately there? Or let's go back. What happened there? It looked like she used it. She used it, right? And then it just fully charged again. Huh. So maybe the skill chain also leaves your skill fully charged. It had like a glowing holographic frame around it. So I guess the skill chain isn't you have to charge it back quickly enough. It's like you get to use it. It's kind of like the skill is split into two pieces. The chain portion is a second use, so it's like 2 iframes in a row, or whenever you want to do it. Deal shadow damage to the target and inflicts poison. After using this skill for a set period of time, it will be possible to trigger a skill chain. Using it during that window will deal shadow damage, bonus damage, and in both cases, damage is increased against poison foes. So, the second use of the skill, because you've already used it once, the enemy will be poisoned, and similar to the first skill where their defense will be reduced. The only slight drawback I see with Alex is because she has both, she has 2 Punisher abilities, they will be additive with each other rather than multiplicative, although it's the first time we've seen something like reduced defense Punisher, so that could work in ways that we haven't seen before, but those should be additive with each other. But that's fine. She still seems like a strong character. Looks like she's wielding Zodiark there, so not much else I can glean from the video footage. But seems like a pretty cool character. Fun to use. Getting to use skills repeatedly is very enjoyable. I feel like Tobias fans probably know the feeling of that. But chain co-ability. So her chain co-ability is to increase shadow team members' strength by 13% when they successfully poison an enemy. This is basically like team sleep. What is it? I'm trying to think of how it's phrased. Sleep equals team strength on Wedding Aoi, or blindness equals team strength on Norwin, but now it's a co-ability and it's limited to shadow. Although it does say when they successfully poison an enemy, so it's a little different in that those abilities trigger on the user afflicting the enemy. But this is very weird. This is going to create very weird dynamics. I mean, that's a large amount of strength to get every time you're poisoning an enemy. These 50-second runs that we're seeing of a lot of the Master High Dragon trials are going to turn into like 30-second, 20-second runs with stuff like this. That's pretty crazy. Let's see if there's anything else that we could go back to. I know we saw rewards. We saw these platinum showcases. I mean, it's a 25% chance of Cerise, who's one of the few characters I'm missing. I do have Diamantium left over from going for Mitsuba, because I only used 4 tenfold summons from Diamantium to try to get her. But, you know, it's just such a crapshoot on these. Like, if this were a dream summon, it's a very easy decision to make among the even among the Gala characters. That would be pretty sweet. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. That feels like a bad decision waiting to happen. So we got Scars of the Syndicate. Let's look at some of the artwork. These, I definitely get either shadow or light vibes, or maybe flame because of all the red and pink. I wasn't paying attention to too much to the free welfare character Aldred, but it looked like he had red hair. So chain co-abilities, they're giving some examples: Dragon Time, Stun Res. It would be nice if some characters' regular abilities, like the ones I was referring to earlier on Wedding Aoi and Norwin, just became chain co-abilities, honestly. And then they got like a legitimate ability in that slot. And then co-abilities are going to change how they work. Event Compendium. That's pretty cool. We get more free stuff. This is going to be really weird. The question is, what skills, to select skills from other adventurers? They're showing Yuden here with some type of buff and then a healing skill. And I could be wrong, but just off the top of my head, I can't think of that many characters whose first skill is that type of buff and their second skill is that type of healing. So that almost makes me think that maybe this is like takes the second skill and the weapon skill or something of the teammate that you're choosing for this, rather than taking their first and second skill. But I could be off on that. There's a lot of characters in the game. But if you can take like any skills, you can do crazy things with this. So there might have to be some limitations. Like, can you imagine using Chocolatiers and just like taking Lin Yu's skill or Hawk's skill to make all of your 4 strikes cause stun, but instead of a bow, you're a sword or something? Or you use Lin Yu's skill and you can put people to sleep. I mean, this could get very interesting. This could definitely get very wild. It's hard to even imagine like some of the combinations that you could come up with for this. But this is a very, very cool way of customization. And although those skills might take longer to charge, or maybe they'll be limited in the number of uses or something like that, a lot of characters, and maybe the data they found showed this, a lot of characters really don't even use their weapon skill. Or if they use it, maybe it's an Agito weapon and they use it once and then just leave it to provide that permanent buff that it provides. So this could be very nice, and especially for weapons like the Chimera Tech that have abilities instead of skills. The Max and Bound Tier 2 Chimera Tech is a pretty strong weapon that you can craft relatively easily and will last you for quite a while as one of your most powerful weapons if you're like a mid-range player. You still get the ability from that. From what it sounded like they said, you only lose the skill. That weapon doesn't even have a skill, so this is going to be pretty cool. But hopefully the defensive battles, the new type of content that they've teased, warrants this level of power. I guess let's look briefly at the new Agito bosses. So definitely getting water element here. A water bow, Sylvan. She looks pretty nice. Kind of some interesting like parallelism, or the fact that she's kind of got this asymmetric design is kind of weird.
Like past bosses, these
Actually, maybe there's something more to that than we think, because usually the element of the boss, they are a foil to the story protagonist or story character of that element. So maybe there's something about our design that speaks to her potential conflict with
will
Elisan.
change their forms and attack patterns in the middle of a fight.
All right, and then we get the twins, Ayaha and Otoha. Yeah, not really sure what I'm looking at here. Definitely seems like flame element to me, but light element is so flexible that, or I'm saying light, but I'm thinking shadow, because light's already out, obviously. That's a very flexible element, so perhaps it could be that, but definitely getting flame vibes with the weapons. I think you have to assume the first one is water and this one is flame, which means the only boss that we haven't seen yet is the shadow element boss. And for lack of a better assumption, well, it does look like they're wielding an axe. They both have axes, or maybe she has like a metal fan. Kind of looks like that. He or she or they, I don't know.
To the Agito Uprising.
So the fact that they show these first, I guess we have to assume Ciela might be the next boss, but we'll know once we get our next Chimera enemy. But in this case, wind characters might be due for some mana spirals, which would be pretty cool. I still can't believe we're getting the Fire Emblem rerun and mana spirals for those characters. That is going to be pretty exciting for folks who hadn't played it beforehand. But I guess that is pretty much going to do it for this video, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today as I reacted to Dragalia Digest. Had some fun. It was a nice distraction and good to check in with the game. I'm glad that there are still plans for the game's future. I don't know when, if ever, we'll get a Switch port or maybe some type of spin-off that's like a proper console game. But I would definitely be all for that at this point. I think that the loop in Dragalia has become a little bit stagnant. And again, it's a tough balancing act. I don't envy the devs at all, because when there were things done to try freshen it up, like with the time attack, obviously that created a lot of backlash, and even some of the mana spirals, people get angry because now the content is, too easy for other people. So I don't know, it's kind of like a tightrope to walk, but to me, the biggest thing that could help is just more content, more things to do that feel like original content. The new Void Battles that we got this week were reskins, which is fine. The new weapons are reskins, which is fine. But I think that we've been in such a holding pattern, and the production value when we do get new events is very high. But I think it's just a question of, is the team strapped for resources? Are there internal challenges right now? Is the world situation a challenge, potentially a headwind for Dragalia Lost? I don't know the answers to those questions, but I just want to throw them out there as possibilities, because I do feel like we're definitely not on the roller coaster that we were on with our game's first director Matsura. With Okada, it feels like we've definitely been rationing these events a lot more judiciously, a lot more reruns. Our collaboration this time is a rerun with something possibly new in the future. Let's hope that that new thing is good and this raid that's coming up is good. I will say, last half anniversary, we didn't really have a special event that I can remember that happened at the time of the anniversary. It was kind of low key, a lot of these double drop, triple drop type events happening. So it is good that we have a raid. It is good that we have Gala Dragalia with the free summons, all the freebies that anyone could ever want. And let's await for an in-game notice to see which of these updates that have been advertised are actually coming with the new version update. All right, though, y'all, thank you so much for watching. That is really going to do it for this video. Have a great evening, have a great day, a great morning, whatever time it is when you're watching this. Take care, and I'll see you next time.